Hi, this is Jay, and this video is about thinking and how to slow down one's thinking, and whether it's possible to completely stop my thinking. So, I'll cover a few different methods. The first method is uh, basically the act of observing. So, when I observe uh, my mind slows down. And the reason my mind slows down is because the mind can only do one thing at a time. So, the moment I start to observe my mind, it slows down, it quietens down because it can only do that, it can only observe, it cannot think at the same time. So, the act of observing one's own mind slows down the mind. Another method is an extension of this, wherein I observe, but I observe everything around me. So let's say I observe the tree outside this window. Now, as long as I don't judge it or try to put labels on it or want it to be different, just observing the tree as it is slows down my mind. And that is because my nature is to witness. Witnessing is my nature. If you look at yourself, what am I? I am a being who is conscious of myself, and I'm conscious of this body and my mind and my senses and the breath that animates my body, and I'm also aware of everything around me. So, I'm a self-conscious being. That much we can say at this moment without going into any analysis. And I've done that in my other videos. But for now, we'll just stay here. So, since I'm a self-conscious being, the act of witnessing or the act of being conscious or aware of something is natural to me. It's my nature. That's why when I observe something and don't want it to be different, don't judge it, I'm at peace. My mind is quiet and I enjoy whatever I'm watching. And for this reason, we love going into nature, right? Places that are beautiful. It's the same reason. The reason is that when it comes to nature, we don't really want anything to be different. That's a quality of nature, right? We don't want the trees to be different. We don't want the mountain to be different. We don't want the grass or the greenery to be different. We don't want the ocean to be different. So the moment the mind is not wanting something to be different and it just accepts everything as it is, it quietens down and it enjoys the act of witnessing. And that's another way to slow down my mind, is just observing what is around me. I started with observing what's in my head, and now I've gone outwards into the world and talked about observing what's out there. So this is another method. And this is the reason why we love to go to plays, why we love to watch movies in a theater, why we love to sit at a sidewalk cafe and just people watch, and why we love to watch television. It's all the same reason, because witnessing is my true nature. Being a conscious being, a self-conscious being, and conscious of everything else, I love to witness, I love to watch, because that is natural to me, it's my nature. That's why I love watching television. That's why television is so addictive. So that's another way. Then there's the method of chanting. Okay, in Sanskrit we call it japa. So in chanting, what do? You take a rosary and you pick a particular mantra, which is basically a short sentence or a single word, and you chant that over and over again. You repeat the same thing over and over again. The idea is, the moment you start repeating one thing over and over again, the mind has to focus on that one word or one sentence, and so it starts to become one pointed and automatically loses all the other thoughts and feelings that are going through it. So it automatically quietens down and just repetitively chants the same thing over and over again. So the idea is to slow the mind down. Excuse me. There's also another purpose for this chanting, and that is Once you gain a certain mastery over chanting and are able to hold your mind to the same chant over and over again, you start to observe the gap between any two chants. Okay, so you chant, and then before you chant the next one, just observe that gap between the two chants, and you will see that that gap is nothing but a simple awareful silence. And that awareful silence is nothing but you. It is me, it is my nature. That's what I'm observing. I'm observing myself as a silent, awareful being. And naturally, you will start to abide in that space more and more because you love that, because you love your own nature. So, the more you become aware of that gap between two chants or two thoughts, the more the mind wants to abide there. And of course, the mind, thoughts will arise in the mind from time to time, and the moment a thought arises, you chant over it. Okay, you chant over it, and that thought goes away, and it's silent again. And again, something arises in the mind, you chant over it. Again, it's silent. It becomes silent. So this way, you're able to lengthen that gap between two chants. And so that's another way. So one is the act of chanting itself makes the mind one-pointed, and therefore more quiet and uh, uh, more alert and concentrated. And the other is you become aware of yourself as that gap between any two chants, and you start to appreciate your own nature as a conscious being more and more. Finally, the the most effective, well, I don't know about most effective, but yeah, I guess you can say overall, the most effective way to quieten my mind is to understand its nature. So my mind by nature is active. It runs. It runs from thought to thought, feeling to feeling. It goes all over the place. It's like a monkey. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how the mind is. The mind is not aware by itself. It borrows its awareness or consciousness from me. It is mechanical. It's like a toy. Excuse me. It's like a child, okay? The mind is like a child. It wants to run free everywhere. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as my mind is available to do whatever I need it to do at any given point in time, the rest of the time, it doesn't matter what it does. Let it roam free. Let it run. It's fine. Just like a child. A child will concentrate in class, in school for a few hours. But the rest of the time, the child needs to run free. It needs that for its own health, right? Mental health and physical health. It needs to play, it needs to run around. And that act of running around and playing quietens down the child, makes the child contented, happy. So it's the same with the mind. You let the mind child run free the rest of the time when you don't need it to perform. But the moment you need it to do something important, to do whatever you need it to do at that time, it should be available to do it. And it will be, as long as you let it roam free the rest of the time. That's it. That's the trick. You let your mind be when you don't need it. Acknowledge it, recognize it as what it is, and let it go free. And it will automatically be available to you whenever you need it. So this is the I would say this is the most effective, because here there's understanding. It's not something mechanical. You actually understand how your mind works, and you accept it as it is, and as a result, you gain a certain calmness, an inner poise from that understanding. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short video, and there are more videos on a page of mine on Facebook, and that page is facebook.com/nirvana for you too. That's NIRVANA, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2. Okay, it's Nirvana for you too. You'll find links to all my videos there, and I hope you enjoy that. And if you guys have any questions, you can leave me a message on Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you.